Chapter 1: The Inheritance. Emma Johnson had never heard of her great-aunt Beatrice until she received the letter informing her of her inheritance. The letter arrived on a dull Tuesday morning, adding an unexpected twist to her otherwise routine life. She was a librarian in Boston, living a quiet existence, content with her books and her cat, Mr. Whiskers. The letter, written in elegant, old-fashioned script, informed her that she had inherited an old mansion in a small town called Hollow Creek. Curiosity piqued, Emma took a leave of absence from her job and made the journey to Hollow Creek. The town was picturesque, with charming houses and tree-lined streets. The mansion, however, stood out. It was a grand, Victorian structure, but it had clearly seen better days. Vines crawled up the walls, and the windows were clouded with grime. As she stepped inside, Emma was greeted by the smell of dust and the creak of wooden floors. The house felt heavy with history, and she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She decided to start her exploration with the attic, hoping to find some clues about her great-aunt and the history of the mansion. Chapter 2: The Letters. The attic was filled with old furniture, trunks, and boxes covered in dust. As Emma rummaged through the clutter, she stumbled upon a small, ornate wooden box. Intrigued, she opened it and found a stack of old letters tied with a faded ribbon. The letters were written in elegant, flowing handwriting, and the paper had yellowed with age. Emma took the letters downstairs to the sitting room and began to read. They were dated from the late 1800s and addressed to a woman named Rose. The letters were signed by a man named James. As Emma read, she was drawn into the passionate love affair described in the letters. James wrote of his deep love for Rose and their secret meetings. He also spoke of a mysterious threat that loomed over them, preventing them from being together openly. The letters were filled with longing and sorrow, and it was clear that their love was fraught with obstacles. The last letter ended abruptly, with James writing that he feared for his life and that they must run away together. But there was no indication of whether they succeeded. Emma was captivated. She felt a strange connection to Rose and James and was determined to uncover the truth about their fate. Chapter 3: Strange Occurrences. As Emma delved deeper into the history of the mansion, strange things began to happen. At night, she heard whispers and footsteps echoing through the halls. Objects seemed to move on their own, and she often felt a chill in the air. One evening, as she was reading one of the letters in the sitting room, she noticed a faint, ghostly figure standing by the window. She froze, her heart pounding. The figure was that of a young man dressed in old-fashioned clothing. He looked at her with sad, longing eyes before fading away. Emma knew she had to find out more about Rose and James. She visited the local library and historical society, searching for any records that might shed light on their story. She discovered that Rose was the daughter of a wealthy landowner, while James was a gardener employed by her family. Their love was forbidden, and Rose's father had done everything in his power to keep them apart. Emma also learned that James had disappeared mysteriously, and Rose had never married. She spent the rest of her life in the mansion, which was why it had passed down to Emma's great-aunt Beatrice. Chapter 4: The Ghost of James. Determined to help the ghosts of Rose and James find peace, Emma continued her research. She found an old journal in the attic, written by Rose herself. The journal confirmed much of what she had read in the letters. Rose wrote of her deep love for James and the terrible day he disappeared. One night, as Emma was reading Rose's journal, she felt a presence in the room. She looked up to see the ghost of James standing before her. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "My name is James," the ghost replied. "I have been trapped in this house for over a century, searching for my beloved Rose." Emma's heart ached for him. "I've read your letters," she said softly. "I want to help you find peace." James looked at her with gratitude. "Thank you. Rose and I were supposed to run away together, but I was taken before we could. I need to find out what happened to her." Emma promised to help him and set out to find any clues that might reveal the truth. She scoured the mansion, looking for hidden compartments and secret passages. Finally, she found a hidden room behind a bookshelf in the library. Inside, she discovered a diary that belonged to Rose's father. Chapter 5: The Truth Revealed. The diary revealed the shocking truth. Rose's father had discovered their plan to run away and had ordered his men to capture James. They locked him in a secret room in the mansion, intending to force him to leave town. But things went horribly wrong. James tried to escape, and in the struggle, he was killed. Rose's father, desperate to cover up the crime, buried James's body in the garden and told Rose that James had run away and abandoned her. Emma was horrified. She knew she had to find James's remains and give him a proper burial. She returned to the mansion and went to the garden, guided by James's ghost. Together, they located the spot where he was buried. Emma dug carefully, and soon she uncovered his remains. With the help of the local authorities, she arranged for a proper burial for James. She also contacted a local historian to document the story of Rose and James, ensuring that their love would be remembered. Chapter 6: Peace and Closure. After James's burial, the atmosphere in the mansion changed. The air felt lighter and the strange occurrences stopped. One evening, as Emma was sitting in the garden, she saw the ghost of Rose standing by James's grave. Rose looked at Emma with gratitude and then turned to see James standing beside her. They embraced, their spirits finally at peace. "Thank you, Emma," Rose said softly. "You have given us the closure we needed." Emma watched as their spirits faded away, feeling a sense of fulfillment and peace. She knew that their love would live on in the memories of those who heard their story. Chapter 7: A New Beginning. With the ghosts of Rose and James at peace, Emma decided to stay in Hollow Creek. She felt a deep connection to the mansion and its history. She renovated the house, turning it into a bed and breakfast that celebrated the love story of Rose and James. She named it Rosewood Manor, in their honor. The bed and breakfast became a popular destination for history enthusiasts and romantics alike. Emma often gave tours of the mansion, sharing the story of Rose and James with her guests. She also started a book club, inviting locals and visitors to discuss literature and history. As the years passed, Emma found happiness and fulfillment in her new life. She met a kind and thoughtful man named Daniel, who shared her love of history and books. They grew close, and Daniel eventually proposed to her in the garden of Rosewood Manor, near James's grave. Emma said yes, feeling that Rose and James had guided her to this moment. She knew that their love story had brought her to Hollow Creek and had given her a new purpose in life. Epilogue: Love's Enduring Legacy. Emma and Daniel were married in a beautiful ceremony at Rosewood Manor, surrounded by friends, family, and the memory of Rose and James. They lived a happy life together, running the bed and breakfast and continuing to share the story of the mansion's star-crossed lovers. Emma often reflected on how her life had changed since inheriting the mansion. She had found love, purpose, and a deep connection to the past. She knew that the spirits of Rose and James were watching over her, their love a guiding light. Rosewood Manor became a symbol of love's enduring power, attracting visitors from all over the world. Emma and Daniel's love story was intertwined with that of Rose and James, proving that love could transcend time and bring people together across the ages. And so, the story of Rose and James lived on, a testament to the power of love, even beyond the grave. The end.